Well, let's bring in Michelle Malkin. She joins us from Colorado Springs. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Oh, by the way, I do have a suggestion about the ironing problem.
Yes.
If you move to Colorado, you don't have to iron anything.
Why?
We're Colorado casual all the time.
No one cares.
I thought you had some ironing tip.
Yeah, it could be the atmosphere, the high altitude, something like that. Hey, let's talk to you a little bit about this. You know, in the last week or so, Rush Limbaugh said something inappropriate. He has apologized. And now the left is absolutely going after him like crazy. And there seems to be a double standard when you look at some people from the left who've said similar things. Nobody's going after them to the same measure. You say there is not a war on women. There's just a war on conservative women.
There has been, and I've been a part of it for the last 2 decades, and I really am sick and tired, and I know that there are so many other conservative women out there in public life who are sick and tired of the double standards. Double standards, of course, are what's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner of the progressive left, and there really is a see no left-wing hate, hear no left-wing hate, speak no left-wing hate policy, and I think that what you're seeing now is a lot of pushback on that. My column today at michellemalkin.com extensively documents all of the kinds of epithets, sexually degrading epithets that were called simply for holding conservative views. And really, slut, which is what the word was that was at issue among all of these Democrats, and which prompted, ridiculously, a phone call from the White House, is seen as something of a middle name for every conservative woman in public life. I mean, if I had $1 for every time somebody called me that, I'd have enough money to get into an Obama fundraiser.
All right, so what do you think about this exchange between a reporter and the president yesterday about Bill Maher? Listen to this.
All right. Jessica Yellen.
Bill Maher apologized for Republicans.
Jessica.
Apologize for what they said about that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the president didn't want to answer.
No, la, 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 I can't hear you. Because, of course, acknowledging the overflow of filth that has been directed at people like Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann and Laura Ingraham and myself would ruin the narrative that they and their left-wing thugs are trying to portray. And really, what I think people need to understand fundamentally about this war on Rush Limbaugh and conservative talk show hosts, while they ignore all of the left-wing talk hate, is that this is another attempt to criminalize and marginalize conservative speech and dissent.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that they use, too, is that they'll say that Bill Maher is a comedian. And so we've heard this from other comedians on late night as well, when they've lobbied themselves into the political realm, that they say, well, they're comedians, so they can just say whatever they want. How do you feel about that?
Yes, absolutely. This is the humor card that they always play as their last resort, and it really is the ultimate sign of cowardice. The other day, I called Bill Maher a dirtbag, but I was wrong about that, and I'm sorry. What he really is just an invertebrate coward, for trying to cloak his extreme political views in humor. There's nothing funny about it.
And the reason we're talking about Bill Maher is because he has given $1 million to Obama's super PAC, and some have, including you, have suggested that he give the money back.
No question about it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are many other donors who've engaged in the kind of incivil behavior that now this White House thinks it's in the middle of policing.
But yet David Axelrod's going to go on as a guest. I mean, how is that a good move? Isn't anyone advising the advisor?
Yeah, well, this is why it's so great to be able to call these people out, and it's just absolutely ridiculous, the double standards that are involved here. But then again, of course, I always have to hesitate about accusing them of double standards, because in order to have double of them, they have to have them to begin with, and 0 times 0 is 0.
Well, here's another example of a double standard. Before he was elected, the president said, you know, I'm going to have a very transparent White House, and there won't be any lobbyists. I'm not going to be influenced by him. And yet we see that he has hired another ex-lobbyist. A fellow by the name of Steve Ricchetti is signing on board.
Yeah, no surprise to me, and it really shouldn't be to anyone who's read Culture of Corruption. I had an entire chapter on how this policy from this administration and this campaign has always been no K Street lobbyists left behind. Right. I think I'm more irritated by the Washington Post and Dana Milbank, who wrote this piece, because somehow now they are the guardians of public ethics. We knew this from day one when Obama attempted to hire lobbyists like Tom Daschle and Bill Richardson, who ultimately were spurned from their positions because of the public backlash at the time. And in the meantime, over the last 3-4 years, we've had dozens of these people go through the revolving door at the White House. In fact, there isn't any door anymore. They've completely obliterated it. Everyone from the domestic policy chief to so many other positions throughout the Pentagon and the Treasury Department. They have recusal rules that they never use, or if they use them, they never disclose them to this day, from the most transparent administration ever.
All right, let's talk about something that is new and shiny for you. It's a new web venture called Twitchy. What is that?
Twitchy is the perfect place for so many of your viewers who have heard about Twitter but certainly don't have the time or patience to be on it 24 hours a day like I am. So if you go to twitchy.com, basically what you'll be able to see is what are people buzzing about on this social networking and microblogging platform that is used by hundreds of millions of people around the world. And you guys know you're on it at Fox and Friends. My account is at michellemalkin.com. And at Twitchy, what we're able to do is to mine Twitter for the best material.
Oh, great.
A lot of news is breaking. You got U.S. politics, global news, sports, media, entertainment, and just general news that's breaking all the time. And it's a great way to have your ear to the ground.
Now,
so we're really excited
Michelle,
about it.
if I write what I'm doing this weekend, will that make Twitchy?
Well, it depends on if you're telling me what you're having for breakfast or who you're having lunch with.
Or
but
maybe,
anyway,
Michelle,
we're watching you.
Maybe, Michelle, he'll be washing his pants.
Possibly. If there's no woman around.
Do you need to wash your pants?
Let me be the judge. I sit next to him. All right, Michelle, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Take care, you guys.